Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, we'll be looking into the morphological parsing with finite state transducers, which is an important topic in NLP and computational linguistics. In simple words, if I would like to say, we'll be learning how a computer breaks a word into smaller meaningful parts, as well as how it assigns grammatical information to those parts. So I hope you're excited. So without further delay, let's start. So, first, let's have a look at the basic overview of morphological parsing. Morphological parsing is a process of decomposing a word into its constituent morphemes and assigning grammatical labels to them. So, you remember, we already have seen what exactly are these terms, morphemes. Okay, so it's the basic meaningful unit of any language. So, morphological parsing is nothing but breaking every single word into morphemes, right? And also assigning the grammatical labels to them. For example, you can see over here, if we have the word foxes, okay, now this foxes on application of morphological parsing will break down into two words, that is your fox, and the second is the word es. Both of these are morphemes, right? Pause the video and comment down what type of morpheme is each of them. Okay, what type of morpheme is fox and what type of morpheme is es. Now you can clearly see that fox is a stem word. It's the basic form of this particular fox's word, and the word es is a suffix, which is nothing but any term that comes after the word to support it, to make it a new form, to make it of a new form. Like here it is used to make it a plural. So, in short, morphological parsing does two things. First, it splits the word, right? And then it labels each part grammatically, like fox is a stem and es is a suffix. Now, why this is important in NLP? Because it helps in word analysis, lexicon lookup, and text generation. So, I hope this term is clear to you all. Now, what are FSTs? We already have seen in the previous video. To give you an overview of it, I would like to state the definition. The FST is a finite state machine that maps input symbols to output symbols like a translator. Okay, in the previous video, we have seen multiple examples like how a particular word which was in the lexical form was getting converted into surface form, right? So that was an example. If you haven't seen that video, please have a look at it first and then jump back to this particular video. We also have seen this comparison of FSA and FST, right? FSA is what? It only accepts or rejects the input, right? It gives a heads up whether a particular string is valid or not. It is based on the binary decision yes or no. Okay, input gives accept or reject output. But when we talk about the FSTs, it generates output while consuming the input, right? So whatever input you have, it generates different output for it, right? So input gives you transformed output when you apply the FST over it. So it works like this. Input word we have like this cats, right? We put it in FST machine and we get certain output like cat plus n plus PL. This is the lexical form of this particular surface form word. So I hope this particular term has been revised. Now, why use FSTs for morphological parsing? Okay, like breaking down the word and assigning it grammatical concepts. So there are four main reasons. Okay, first is compact representation. Over here you can see actually here FSTs efficiently represent word rules without writing separate rules for every single word. It also handles the irregularities. It can encode both the regular forms like cats and irregular forms like geese. Those examples we have seen in the previous video, right? Also helps in systematic processing, which is excellent for languages where morphemes concatenate, right? It acts as a foundation for tools. Most morphological analyzers in NLP toolkits are based on FST. So you need to remember all these things. Okay. So because of this, FSTs are majorly used in morphological parsing. So I hope it is clear. Now, how the morphological parsing with FST works. Okay. How it actually gets done. So there are two stages over here that you need to understand. The very first stage is surface form to intermediate form. So basically the FST processes the surface form word as written and identifies the possible boundaries and stem candidates. So in this particular stage, the FST will read the word as written and tries possible splits. For example, if you have the word foxes, right? So over here, this foxes is the surface form, right? Here it gets broken down into possible decompositions. Like first you can see fox plus es, right? And second, you can have fox with e in it plus s, right? Whatever splits can be possible, it does that, okay? And then it decides whichever is valid or whichever needs to be rejected. Okay, now how it does that? The FSTs has valid paths, okay, only valid morpheme boundaries are accepted. FSTs has certain valid paths, okay, only valid morphemes boundaries are accepted. So that is how FST will filter the wrong decompositions, okay? So it will choose which one is correct based on those valid morpheme boundaries, okay? So here you can see fox plus es, this is termed as valid, okay, and the another one is rejected. So I hope the stage one is clear. It creates surface form, it converts the surface form to intermediate format. Next, we have stage 2 of 2. Over here, your intermediate format will then be converted into morphological structure. FST will map the intermediate output to the actual morphological tags and features. Okay, for example, we have the word cats. Okay, now this is the surface form. Okay, in the stage 1, the surface form gets decomposed into an intermediate form, which is now cat plus s. Right now, from here to the next morphological tags, this is your stage 2. Okay, so cat plus s will be then converted into cat plus n plus pl. Okay, this is your morphological tags, where it says that cat is your noun, and pl, the word, the letter s which is attached to cat, the second part, okay, this is nothing but a plural representation for that particular word. Clearly you can see all the different tag meanings. Cat is a noun stem, right? Root word it is. Plus n is a noun category, okay? And pl is plural feature, which is a grammatical number, right? So the final output is structured grammatical information. So the final output that you can see is structured grammatical information. So I hope the process is clear. Okay, both the stage 1 and stage 2, I hope both of them are clear. Now let's have a look at certain examples over here. We have words, we have the decomposed form, and we have the parsed output. So every single row that you can see in this particular table is the stage 1 plus stage 2 of your morphological parsing with FST. So if your word is cats, right, the decomposed form is your cat plus s. This is your stage 1 output, or I would say the intermediate form. Next, your stage 1 output gets converted into the morphological tags, which is nothing but cat plus n plus pl. Okay, the same example that we have seen before. Next, foxes gets converted into fox plus es. Okay, multiple possible outputs could be there. Fox, foxe plus s could be also there, but this is chosen based on certain rules defined. Okay, now this output then further gets decomposed to the morphological tags fox plus n, which represents the noun, plus pl, which represents the plural form. Okay, next, if you talk about the word running, it gets decomposed to run plus ing, right? Now this intermediate form then gets converted into stage 2 output, or I would say the morphological tags, where we get run plus v, which is nothing but the verb part of speech, plus prog. Okay, this is nothing but the progressive. That means your ing tag, which is attached to your word run, is representing a progressive feature. Similarly, you can have the another example like unhappiness. So over here it get decomposed to un plus happy plus ness. Now the morphological tag of this would be un, okay, which is a prefix which represents a negative prefix. Then the root form of the word, that is happy, right, plus adjective, which represents that happy is adjective. Then ness is the word, right, it represents the suffix noun. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you all. So these are certain examples. I hope with these examples the process is clear. Now, there are certain constraints and rules that are followed in FST. FST works using these main three components. The very first is lexicon. It is nothing but dictionary of stems and affixes used by FST transitions. For example, cat, fox, run, happy, s, es, and so on. Okay, all the prefix, suffix, as well as the root form of the word gets comprised from the lexicon component. Next comes the morphotactic rules. These are nothing but the rules about the correct order of morphemes. For example, the order would be prefix, then comes the root word, then comes the suffix. Like for example, unhappiness. Cool. So these are the rules which defines the sequence. Next is orthographic rules, okay, where spelling changes at boundaries. Okay, so for example, fox plus s will give you foxes, right? Not foxs. Yes, so these are certain orthographic rules which takes care of all these things. There is one more example: run plus ing doesn't give you runing, it gives you running. So these are certain syntax rules that are followed in English language, which comes under the orthographic rules. So I hope all these three different types of components which supports FST are clear to you all. These three components work together to ensure the accurate parsing of both regular and irregular forms. So I hope the constraints and rules of FST are clear to you all. Now, let's have a look at the advantages of FST for parsing. Okay. So first of all, it is very efficient. It is suitable for bulk processing of large word list. It is extremely fast state transition based computation. Okay, so that is why FSTs are used. It is bidirectional. It can be used for both analysis to parse the word and generation also, where it produces the surface forms. So you can see for both the things it can be used. It is used in formal structure. It is based on well defined automata theory. It has clear states and labeled transition. So it has a very formal structure, because of which it is widely used for parsing. Cool. So I hope the advantages are clear. Now there are certain limitations and challenges also that arises with this concept. Okay, so the very first is large lexicon required. Here it needs large dictionary and many rules. Okay. Next challenge is irregular forms. Irregular morphologies are hard to cover fully without many exceptions. For example, go converts to went, be converts to was, were, cannot follow regular patterns, right? So here there has to be certain defined rules, okay, strict rules that needs to be separately created. So on this particular task, the FST won't work accurately. Next, for complex languages also it cannot be used. Can be complex for highly inflected languages where morpheme pattern changes extensively. For example, Finnish, Turkish, Arabic, all these languages are very complex, and their simple rules defined by FST cannot be highly used. Modern approaches often combine FSTs with machine learning to handle the irregularities, so those can be used for such cases or scenarios. So I hope the limitations and challenges are clear to you all. Now, this brings us to the end of the video. I hope you have understood the entire concept of how we do the process of morphological parsing using FST. Here is the summary or key takeaways that we have seen from this particular video. If you guys have any single doubt, then put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to solve it. For more such videos, do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell icon, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Please join me on Telegram. Thanks for watching. Have a good day ahead.